how do you graph a line if you're given the slope and the y-intercept of the line? Well, the y-intercept is just a point on the line. And so a good idea is to start out by plotting that point. So the first step is that we plot the given intercept. And to do that, we're going to need a graph. So let's go ahead and make sure we have a graph and an axis. So here's our graph. Here's our axes. Here's a y-axis. Here's an x-axis. And now let's label those axes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. -1, -2, -3, -4. And same deal over here. So we have a graph. It's ready to go. Now all we got to do is figure out what point the intercept is on that graph. Well, that's not so hard to do, because y-intercept means that it goes through the y-axis. And every single point on the y-axis has an x-coordinate of 0. So we know the x-coordinate is 0. And we know the y-intercept is -2, so the y-coordinate is -2. So that is the coordinate for our y-intercept. And now we can just plot that directly on the graph. 0 in the x, down 2 in the y, and there we go. That point right there is 0, -2. So we have one point of the line. It's right there. And now we have to figure out what the line actually looks like. Well, at this stage of the game, the line really could be anything. It could be going through the point this way. It could be going through the point this way. It could be going through the point this way. We really don't know until we look at the slope. And that's why the next step is for us to just remember the slope definition. So, what is slope? What is it all about? Well, the easiest thing to remember is that slope fundamentally means the rise of the line divided by the run of the line. And if we're told that the slope is 2, then that means that 2 equals rise over run. Now, how can we express 2 as a fraction like this? Well, there are many ways to do it, but one simple way is to put a 2 at the top and put a 1 in the bottom. So that means our rise equals 2 and our run equals 1. Now, when it's positive like this, that means something very specific. That means that when you're making your line, your rise goes up by 2 and your run goes to the right by 1. Or it means you go down 2 and to the left by 1. If this was a negative number, well then we would go up and to the left or down and to the right. But because it's positive, it's up and right or down and left. Now what does that mean? Well, that means that we can use rise over run to find other points on the line. Let me show you how you do that. You start at the point that you know, and then you follow the rise and the run. The rise is 2, the run is 1. So we go up by 2, count 1, 2. And to the right by 1, count 1. There we are. That's the next point on the line that we generated by using the slope. We could do it the other way. We could go backwards. We could go down by 2, 1, 2. And then go to the left by 1, 1. There it is. So here we went up 2 over 1. Here we went down 2 over 1. See that? That's pretty cool. Our rise was 2, our run was 1. Here our rise was down 2, and our run was to the left by 1. Now we have more than one point, and if you have more than one point, you definitely can draw a line. So the last step is to connect the points. And you can make as many points as you like. We're just going to make 2 extra ones on top of the intercept, and now we just connect them. So let's just try real hard to make a nice line. There's our line. So whenever you have a problem like this, where you have an intercept and a slope, plot the intercept and then take the slope, express it as a fraction so that it's rise over run, and then use the rise and run to generate more points. Remember, if it's a negative number, if slope is negative, then you have to go up and to the left or down and to the right. If slope is a positive number, then we do what we did here. You go up and to the right or down and to the left. Just remember that basic strategy and you'll be able to generate any line you want given this kind of information.